Let's see. Just waiting for YouTube to catch up.
Make sure I'm not.
All right. And all right. Excellent connection. All right, what's up? Hey, yo, chat. Like my boy Jack Move be saying, are we live, bruh? Let me see. Usually when the chat responds, I know they see us.
Yeah, it's on.
Oh, you see it? It's already loading?
Yeah.
Man, my shit's like react slow though. Okay, yo, I think, yeah. Wait. What up? And, okay, there we go. All right. Let me see. Let's see what's up. Okay, all right, so, yep, everything's loading. All right. Yo, what up? Yo, what's going on, my friends, my fellow gamers? It's your only friend, these YouTube streets, Porter Rock 77. We're back with another 60 Frames No Lag podcast. We got a lot to talk about today, but let's get to it. Let's rock out with the crew that showed up. We're gonna start off with the Messiah, who to this day is 2. What is it? 2/22/22? Yeah, and you still don't know what a 52 CU is.
I'm still trying to find it. So, yeah, I have no idea whatever it is. It's not helping the Xbox. So that's all I know.
What's going on, brother? How you been? How's everything?
I'm doing all right. A little tired. Work today, but going in tomorrow. So yeah, I'll be here for a little bit, and I'll have to hop off. But yeah, ready to kick it. Got some good topics here. Good crew. So shout out to everybody in the chat, and ready to go.
All right, man. Thank you for your first responder services.
Oh, well, thank you. No problem.
Okay. All right. We got B Staples here. He's out here playing greatness, but he's gonna give his Xbox perspective. He's gonna apply his Xbox standards.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna be
playing these games, man. It's really hard to balance all these, but I'm trying my best, man.
So, you heard him. He's trying to play all these games on PlayStation, but it's hard for him to balance it. See, on Xbox it's pretty easy. They only have 1 or 2 a year, so it's a little bit easy over there. So forgive him. He's kind of overwhelmed right now. Now I'm playing. How's everything with you, brother?
Chilling, man. Get out of work. The show. We need to talk about Horizon. So.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. And then, of course, newcomer, but he's becoming a family favorite. My boy Project Cloud. What's going on, brother?
Hey, what's up, man? Just all this news this week, and over the past few weeks even, it's interesting how the gaming industry has developed. It feels like 2022 is really kind of a new era for us.
Does it almost feel, compared to other generations, chaotic? Like every other generation, you kind of knew the blueprint. Like everybody knew the assignment.
Yeah.
Now it's like, all right, what does the industry want to do? Like, what do you guys want to do?
Right.
Do you want to play games everywhere so that way, this universal concept of don't worry about the platform? Or is it going to be even more segregated because Amazon might come in? Like, what does the industry wants to do? Like, what are you guys doing? Like, you know what? That's a good little, we'll talk about that towards the end, all right? But anyway, how's everything with you, brother? How's everything with you?
Great, man. Life is always pretty much treating me pretty well, so today's been a great day, so.
Outstanding. All right, good to hear that, man.
I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad, to the audience, J-Dub and J Bari and the rest might stop by. They got things, they got big things, J Bari's channel and Persona Speaks, the What's Up PlayStation podcast hit 2,000 subscribers. If you haven't checked that out and you're interested in pure PlayStation content, that is the place to be. Go check them out. This Saturday, they're going to have Colin Moriarty on the show, which is phenomenal. Really going to check out. They do it every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So hit them up, man. Check them out, right? But we're going to get into this. So I'm going to preface this so that way the audience knows. So all 4 of us in this room have played. Wait, let me ask. Project Cloud, you played Horizon Zero Dawn, right? Forbidden West. Forbidden West. You're
Forbidden
playing.
West, no.
You're not okay.
No.
So you have not played Forbidden West. All right. So far 3 of us have.
I'm still working my way through actually Zero Dawn.
Ooh, okay. All right. Are you playing? You're playing it on your PS5?
Well, I haven't actually played it on the PS5 yet. Last time I played it was on my PS4 Pro.
Oh, okay. But you have a PS5 though, right?
Yes,
okay.
I sure do.
All right, okay. So yeah, don't play Forbidden West. Finish Zero Dawn. It's a phenomenal game. And then like, man, it's crazy. So 3 of us played it. So myself, Craig, you played Forbidden West, right?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I thought you were gonna say no. You're still playing Mass Effect. I would have just booted you off.
I'm doing both. Yeah.
All right. So Craig is doing it. B Staples, Xbox guy, he's playing it, and he's playing on the PS5. Hey, I'm gonna let y'all know, B Staples is the Xbox dude, but he got his PS5 day one. So I'm just saying, B Staples don't play. He got his 5. He got the bag. So we're gonna give a little bit of thoughts and impressions on that, right? Then we also got talk of Call of Duty skipping 2023. That just got announced, so that's pretty big. Street Fighter 6 first review. Talk about that. Also Gran Turismo 7's review embargo is due to end soon. So so that's coming up around which is pretty quick. So we'll talk about that. What else is craziness? What other craziness happened?
PlayStation now getting a game day and date.
Yeah, Shadow Warrior 3. A game. Yeah. We'll talk about that too. Because I'm going to call BS. I'm going to call BS on this one. But we're going to talk all about that. But first, we'll start off with our Horizon Forbidden West initial impressions. I'm going to start out with Craig because Craig can only be here for about 40 minutes. So let's get his thoughts real quick. Craig, what you think about it so far? Have you played the first one, Zero Dawn? Of course you have.
Yeah, finished. Beat Zero Dawn. I didn't platinum it. I finished the game.
Okay.
It was a deeper story. Zero Dawn's story is a lot deeper than I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
Forbidden West is, as far as what the game looks like, it's the best looking game I have played. Period. It's hard to say being a Mass Effect guy. This game, the stuff that I'm seeing, I'm like, wow. I mean, they're actual moments, when you're like, wow. I tell my girl, look, come look at this. And she even looked at it and was like, that's a game. Wow. She said, but yeah, it's one, and I'm playing at 30 frames per second. I'm playing in graphics mode. Like I play Zero Dawn in 30 frames a second. And I'm not having I have a problem with the camera. I'm moving it too fast, even though I've slowed it down. Like, well, I'll just have to overcome it, adapt and overcome. Yeah. And but it's really a good game. It is. You have to understand that the reason why she talks the way she does is because she's had access to data that other people have never seen before. So through her focus or Bluetooth. And so she's using that, and she'll say elevators and rockets. It's like you're not used to hearing somebody say that, but especially her. But no, I've enjoyed it. I made it to the first big settlement where was the Sun King, whatever. Yeah. That's where I'm at. I'm pretty much there, and so I'm just going from there. It's the best looking game I've ever seen. I don't mind playing it at 30 frames per second. Maybe if they, that's just me though. I get it. There's people playing on performance mode. I think that's 1800p with medium graphics. It's still
the best looking game ever. Yeah, even with that.
I mean, for me, that's just my opinion. And something may come along later on in this generation to knock it off. But what I like about it is seeing what Kojima did with that Decima engine. Actually seeing it in this game. Yeah. You're actually seeing it. So, and you're feeling it. And if you play Death Stranding, the water scene. That looks phenomenal, and people were saying to me that there was glitches in it, and I was playing it the other day at the very beginning when Aloy jumped in the water with with the brother, and the brother was struggling to swim. I'm like, well, that's not a glitch. We don't swim very well. And I was cracking up. I'm like, you all are saying this is a glitch. No, he's struggling in the water. He should be struggling in the water. What really grabbed me though, the dual sense. When I went underwater, I thought there was something wrong, but that my character, she kept going to the left, and the dual sense was really vibrating on the right side. I'm like, but here's why. If you've ever swum underwater and you've gotten to a current, you get pulled. You feel it from the opposite side, and that's what the dual sense is doing. It's really rattling on the right side. I'm like, I'm like, oh, okay, there's a current here, and that current is pulling me, and I thought it was something wrong. So, yeah, it's, again, and if you played Death Stranding, if you got the director's cut, you had a similar type of feel. If you got hit from the left side rattled more, or the right side would rattle more. So, or if you got hit right in the front, the whole thing would rattle. So it's I think it's salute to Gorilla, best looking game I've ever played. I've been playing games since Atari 2600, like Pitfall and E.T. So if somebody told me we would get something like this,
Jesus
I wouldn't
Christ,
believe
E.T.
it. Wouldn't have believed it. Yeah, it was huge.
The most horrible game ever.
E.T. Yeah, it is. Buried out in the desert. If you all want a copy of E.T. on Atari, just go to the Nevada desert and they give you the coordinates and you can go dig them up. So that's where they're buried. But best looking game I've ever seen. The voice acting is better. The hit detection, I've had a little issue with the hit detection, but that could just be the way I'm playing it. I'm trying to get used to that camera and, how to swing it certain ways. So it is just a learning curve for me. That's all. But it's a good game.
They're working on some patches for the game too, so
I would imagine they'll do some
that'll
improvements.
help.
Yeah. So shout out to Tommy Bull with the super chat. He said, "Best looking black people in any game." Well, the characters are well designed. Absolutely graphics. All right.
So and wait till you see the ones that is it Forspoken? That looks good. Is it Forspoken? The Square Enix game?
Yeah, it's Forspoken. That's coming up in May.
They did a good job in that game too. And I mean, there's actual black artists they're talking online about how good that does look. Have to wait and see. Right. But I agree with them. Yeah, the representation. They did a good job in Miles Morales as well.
Oh yeah, man. He had his haircut. His fade is clean, line up straight. They hooked him up. All right, B Staples. B Staples. All right, so give us your opinion on first. Have you played the first one, Zero Dawn?
Yeah, I beat it on Steam.
Okay, cool. All right. So now you're playing Forbidden West. Give us your thoughts about it. All right. I want two things from you. Give us your thoughts on the game, right? Everything, whatever, good or bad. Give us your thoughts, and then how this game was crafted. Have you played anything like it? Like not the game itself, but in terms of the craftsmanship, regardless of what genre, from an Xbox studio. In just an honest opinion.
All right, so what do I think about the game? I really liked the game. Even going back to Zero Dawn, I thought Zero Dawn, I really liked it. It's weird because the critiques that people always say about Zero Dawn is the combat. I thought the combat was the best thing about the game, in my opinion.
All right.
I like Zero Dawn more than I like Ghosts. I like it more than Spider-Man. Not as much as God of War, but I like Zero Dawn. So I knew I was gonna like this game. I really like this game. I think I'm level 15 right now. I'm in the Forbidden West. I think that it's a lot more difficult than the last game. Mm-hmm. I think so. Even from my play style, I play everything like a shooter. So I am a hunter. I maxed out hunter. That's the only thing I'm going for because I just want to make sure my aim is good because that's just the way I play games.
Okay.
The critiques, I guess, I wouldn't say the story's bad, but I'm not really immersed in it. But I wasn't immersed in the first one either. But I still like the first one, but it wasn't because of the story of the characters. I liked it because of the gameplay. I'm a gameplay guy. That's just me. And it's kind of the same story here. They definitely improved on a lot. There's a lot of things going on in this game. There's a lot of new additions, new weapon types, new machines. I'm probably like a quarter into the game right now. I'm, as I said, level 15. I think that it's a good game, though. If I was to rate it, I'd probably give it like a 8.59 out of 10. It's definitely a good game. I lived up to the hype in my opinion. I don't think it's like the best game ever made, like I'm seeing some people say, but it's a good game, man. Guerrilla, they did their thing. Now,
let me ask you this, because you're playing on the DualSense. Did this game did the DualSense add anything for you? Because on the original game, it just had basic rumble, right? No big deal. Rumble that we always used to. Did the DualSense do anything more for you playing this one?
I'm gonna say no, because the things that the DualSense is doing in this game, I've seen in other games, or I've experienced in other games, like Demon Souls and Astro Bot. Like the DualSense, like it doesn't surprise me anymore.
Okay.
Because I feel like I've experienced like a lot of games on PS5 that like utilize the DualSense, so I'm not really surprised. Like when like, you know, haptic feedback's kick in or something. Like I'm used to it. Like, you know, like I played enough games to know what the DualSense is gonna do. Okay. So yeah, it definitely will be. It'll be a game of the year contender. It'll be in the mix. It'll be in the conversation. They did their thing. I can't really. I'm saying, see, I'm not a hater. If you drop good games, I'll give you a credit, man. I'm not no hater like these other guys. But you know what I'm saying? It's a good game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
to answer your other question, you're gonna get to that. Has an Xbox game been crafted like this? See, I wasn't gonna talk about the bugs. I was not going to talk about the bugs. I'm going to ignore it because I've experienced bugs. Okay. It's not no major bug. My bug tolerance is very high. Okay. I don't get bothered by bugs unless it impedes my progression in the game. Like, I can't finish a mission. But, like, if
I'm the same way.
Yeah, I'm not, like, I've played enough games, like, buggy games, where if I see a bug, I'm like, whatever. Like, I don't even tweet it out. I don't even talk about it. But if it's stopping me from completing a side mission, a main mission, then I'm like, all right, what the hell is going on? Like, I'm trying to, So, I've experienced some bugs. As I said, nothing too crazy. You know, I'm still getting through the game. But, you know, it's here and there. It's nothing to really write home about, in my opinion. But, you know, that's my experience. Okay. But, yeah, we'll see if Xbox. We'll see with Starfield. I think they can surpass.
Now I'm gonna say this. If people get a hard like I'm the same way with you. It takes a lot for me for a bug to bother me. Most of the time, the only bugs that bother me if it stops me from doing something, whether it's getting a weapon, completing a mission, or finishing the game, or if I have to restart. Those annoy me, right? So because I have a high tolerance. But Bethesda games don't bother me. Elder Scrolls and Fallout games don't bother me.
Yeah, they don't bother me either.
They don't bother me. But they're called Bethesda for a reason. There's a lot of bugs in those games. But so far, I never experienced like a game-breaking bug from them. I've seen a lot of bugs, a lot of weird shit, but you could just move on or whatever, right? So Starfield, So Starfield's gonna be interesting, you know, because they try to do so much that it ends up collapsing under its own weight, you know. But that's a good thing. Yeah. The Ruham. What's going on, my brother? Thank you for the super chat. The Ruham says, what's good, guys? This game is awesome. Yes, it is. It is fantastic. It's great that we get it early in the gen. For my initial impressions, right, I'm playing it at 60 frames. In the beginning, you know, what I did was I immediately toggled it between the two, right? 30 frames and 60 frames, right? When I toggled it 30 frames, I was like, oh, I just couldn't do it, right? You could just tell. Like if you're already used to
anyone's playing 30 frames this game. This game is unplayable in my opinion.
Like I couldn't do it. If I was forced to do it, then it is what it is, right? I'm not gonna let the lack of 60 FPS stop me from playing a good game I want to play, because I played a lot. Like I said, I played the first one at 30 frames, right? But toggling both and seeing both, I had to stick with 60. It was the same thing like with Spider-Man. When I toggle 60 and 30, I couldn't do 30. Like, if I have the option to play 60, I'm going to play 60, right? I notice the frames more than I do the resolution, because it is, you know, dynamic or checkerboard and stuff like that anyway, right? But anyway, so playing the game, right, smooth, right? The graphics is gorgeous. Like, Guerrilla, you just like what Craig said, you can tell the influence Kojima had by developing this engine, because you can see, I don't know, like, I see a lot more. Like, the game's fuller as compared to the first Horizon Zero Dawn. I don't know how to explain it, but it just seems like just looking at the game, walking through the forest, everything, it just seems like there's more as compared to the first one.
There's more assets.
Like,
there's more assets to deploy, and so they got. Yeah, you're right. Now they have more animals. Yeah. You see birds. You see butterflies. You're right.
Exactly. It's just more. Yeah. Like you see everything. There's just more, right? And everything's a bit more colorful. Like they just added a deeper, richer color palette to the game. Because I'm like,
well, remember you're in. Well, if you're playing in performance mode, you may be in mid to high settings. Yeah. If you play in the graphics mode or the other mode. You're in ultra, is what I've been told. I don't know if anybody's got independent verification, but I'm hearing that game is in ultra settings at 4K native with that refresh rate. People got to understand that refresh thing Sony has done, that's something else. That's why not Death Stranding, Days Gone, it looks so much better now. I mean, the close-ups, the cutscenes, because they got that new refresh running. And if you have a TV that can do that, you get to see a much cleaner picture. I didn't mean to interrupt you. You're right. There's just more to see.
Yeah.
You know, you're right about that. The draw distances are phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal, you know.
Another improvement I noticed is the acting. Because especially for
performance capture.
Yeah, performance capture, the actual voice. Like the first Horizon Zero Dawn, the voice acting is kind of weird. Like it almost like they just picked. Yeah, it's out of sync, and it seemed like they just grabbed dudes straight off the streets. Like, oh no, you are going up a tree. Oh my god, like it was weird. I'm like, man, this is pretty bad, especially when you're used to Naughty Dog, and then you play that. I was like, man, they really cheaped out on the voice acting this one. So it's kind of weird.
CD Projekt Red or Rockstar. You're
Witcher,
right.
Yeah, Witcher 3 had much better for Naughty Dog Witcher 3. I was like, man, even Killzone. That's why I was surprised, because Killzone, as much as the game was garbage, the voice acting was still pretty good, you know, whatever. But this one, I was like, man, Horizon Zero Dawn voice acting was... So when people made fun of it, I just kept quiet, because I'm like, they're right. This shit is not up to par. This time, it's a lot more. It seems like a lot more natural. The conversation seems more... they're more humorous. Like, it's just overall better as far as the voice acting is concerned, right? But the DualSense for me...
It definitely...
Go ahead.
Yeah, it definitely helps when you have a game where you're making choices with dialogue and things like that, and the faces look a lot more realistic.
Yes, that's true.
Lining up with what they're saying.
Yeah, that's true. Like I said, it was almost like a old school kung fu flick. Like the voice didn't match the lips, and like, all right, you know, you could work on that quality, which I'm glad they did. The DualSense for me added a bit more immersion because I noticed it. Like, you know, pulling the it's like B Stable says, not a surprise. But comparing the experience to Zero Dawn, it just feels so much more immersive for me.
And that's what people...
It just...
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so like the bowstring, you know, you could feel the tension. Swimming, you could feel that. Even like, I noticed like when you're hiding, you're going through the bushes to do a strike, you know, as you're going through the grass slowly, you feel like the controller kind of like, it feels like you're brushing against it, right? So I noticed all those little things, and in comparison to the first Horizon Zero Dawn, which didn't have any of that, I noticed all those little touches. Like, I could just instantly tell, man, I didn't experience this on the first one. So it was pretty amazing and stuff like that. What were you going to say, Craig?
Just real quick, that people, in my opinion, you should compare. It's like an album. Yeah. You know, if you bought the first or second or third album of somebody, you always compare it to the other albums that they made first. What are the changes? And that's what I did with this game. I'm like, yeah, this is a lot different. They went in, the immersion's a lot better. I'm not, you know, so, you know, for me personally, that's what I compared it to. First 2 hours of Zero Dawn are really good, graphically and resolution wise. But yeah, first 2 hours of this is roughly the same. And like I said, that dude was flirting with Aloy. I was trying to get Aloy laid. Like I was trying to get Ciri laid in The Witcher, you know. I mean, I did. Ciri she was going to put it on that dude in the stable. Then the Wild Hunt came and cop blocked. But so yeah, I like that that wheel that you have, and it tells you exactly what to expect from her, and that's going to dictate things down the road, her personality, which is something that I'm going to say right now, something that they got out of Mass Effect, because that's exactly what you do. You choose your character's personality, and so everybody's Aloy may be doing the same thing, but she's acting differently. You're going to get a different wheel of conversation to come up. So that's a big deal. That is hard to do, and they've actually done a real good job, at least early in the game. It could turn to trash later on. I don't know. Well,
they do have Witcher devs, like the devs that did Witcher 1 and 2 with them, so more experience, you know, and then always with a sequel, you tend to look back on your first one, and like, at least if you're a good developer, you always try to look back at your first project and admit what did we do wrong or what we could have done better. You know what I'm saying? So I think most devs, they try to do that. They try to look at their first games or the games previously, and they try their best to add the things or just improve on it. Patrick Adams, thank you for the super chat. He said, "Hey fellas, literally just beat the game as I'm watching your podcast." Wow, Patrick, good shit. Damn, you put in some hours, didn't you? Definitely going back through it on hard difficulty. Game is amazing. My man put in them hours. You ain't playing, Patrick. Holy cow. And then my man Dover, not saying your first name, but my man Dover said 10-10. That's it. What are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? 10-10 celebration. Game of the year. That's it. Done. Shut the podcast down. What's up, Dover? Thank you for the super chat, you know. Everybody hit the like button. Ragnarok. You know? Oh, until Ragnarok, man. That's crazy, man. It's a thing. Yeah. And supposedly that game is still on call for 2022. Jesus.
Yep.
Jesus! Sure. You know what I'm saying?
I have to wait and see. I still think it gets pushed, but that's fine. I mean, it's not a big deal.
Oh, no. Jason Schreier, you know, industry insider, you know, has said 2022. He's good,
yeah. Yeah, no, I believe him. No, I believe it's still on pace, but I still think, and like I was saying a few months ago about this, you know, the Horizon Forbidden West. I'm like, guys, it's going to get pushed to February because that's the 5th year anniversary of Zero Dawn, and that's exactly what they did. They just pushed it to the 5th year anniversary. Yeah. So I think God of War gets pushed till 23, which is the 5th year anniversary.
I don't know. That might be a huge blowback.
Here's the thing, though. It already came. Well, when they first announced Ragnarok, they promised 2021. Yeah. Well, a lot of people thought it would, you know, get slipped, and of course it did
because of COVID.
But honestly, yeah, my suspicion is we might even see that game during the first half of this year. I could be wrong on that, but I think that is a realistic possibility right now.
I think if they delay the game to 2023, that's going to be a huge blowback.
Yeah, I really think that's not
like April or something like that. It'd still be Q1.
I'd say April at the earliest, just because that was when the first one came out.
I hope it comes out on time. I know a lot of people are looking forward to it.
And then, you know, Sony's not really good at controlling messaging. I mean, they sometimes they always say, sometimes they not. But if they delayed it to 2023, people ask a lot of questions like, why is this game being delayed a whole year? Like, what happened? Like, that's what people are going to ask. Like, a whole year delay, that's a lot.
It doesn't have a release date for 22. They just said, I mean, it may not hit till November of 22.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to take back what I said about April because they do have Forspoken coming out in May.
Yeah.
That's May. Yeah. So unless we get a really surprise announcement, I'm going to say June at the earliest.
I could see, maybe. I could see no earlier than the summer. I could definitely see that. No earlier than the summer, potentially.
And is anybody going to get the Witch Queen, whatever it's called, for Bungie's, for the new PlayStation Studio, Destiny?
Oh, I'm not getting it now, man.
No, I stopped playing Destiny a long time ago.
Man. Oh, yeah, I used to go hard. My character's level 4, level 3, so I really don't play. I know a lot of people are looking forward to it. And anybody was going to.
Destiny's a great game, but like Staples says, man, you would put hours into that and you end up playing nothing else. Like, I had to stop, man.
A damn part-time job. I hate games like that. That feel like it's like a damn part-time job. Like, I don't. That's why I don't like MMOs. Like, I don't like games like that. Like, it's not. I don't know.
I know what you're saying.
It's really hard to play other games, like, you know, because you put so much hours and limits. That's why I had to stop.
Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, it's a great game. It's you know it's doing the job and that's why Sony bought Bungie, because they're trying to fix their other multiplayer and they're trying to create live service games in similar fashion. But man, that's the one thing about live service games, man. You put so much time into it, you start to miss out on other experiences. So, I had to stop. Like, I'm just like, I'm done. Same thing with Elder Scrolls Online. I used to play that shit a hell of a ton. I had to stop too, because it just doesn't end. You'll be stuck playing those games. All right, so my man Andrew, here we go. We got Andrew Wilkins. Andrew Wilkins says, thank you for the super chat. He says, Starfield is definitely getting delayed, and God of War, Hogwarts Legacy, Final Fantasy 16, and Stray are currently slated to release this year. You know.
Well, I hope he's wrong about Starfield, because I actually do want to play that.
I think he is definitely wrong on Starfield.
But I wouldn't nothing will shock me anymore. I mean,
really, any game. Like, really, to be honest, any game could get delayed. Any game,
right?
Any game, like nothing safe until it's actually released. Nothing safe.
It was in my hand, my cold-blooded hand. Elden Ring could get delayed. Who knows?
Don't even trust the preload timer. Right? You can see the timer, and it could be down to the seconds. You're like 10, 9. You're like, then all of a sudden, bloop, they add 99 more hours, and you're like,
scrub the mission like they do with the shuttle.
You could be like, what? You reset your console. that shit says 99 hours. You're like, what happened, dog? Like, yo, until that shit is on your console and you boot it up, man, any game could be delayed. That's just how it is, man. Oh, hey,
that's the way it is right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Hit the like button. All right. So I guess we give our initial impressions. What's up?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was just going to say, like, that sort of happened to me with Stalker 2, like, because that was scheduled to come out April 28th, I believe, this year. Close. And then it's like, okay, December.
Yeah, that's
I pre-ordered the Ultimate Collection Edition or whatever, and it's like, no, we're going to refund you.
Yeah, that's not even like a 2-month delay. Like a 2-month delay, hey, we're tweaking some stuff. All right, got it. These guys are like December. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, oh, bro. Like, once, that's crazy, But anyway, so I think we cover. I don't want to give too much because I'm really wary of talking too much about Horizon Zero Dawn for spoiler. But I think ultimately, right, especially if you're playing on the PlayStation 5, you're gonna get a good experience. I think you're gonna enjoy this game. So if you ever got it, get it, play it, enjoy, have a great time. Especially if you love Zero Dawn. I'm wondering if the PC gamers who played Zero Dawn on PC, how many of them? And I would imagine it's gonna be a whole lot. But I wonder how many made the jump and be like, you know what, I'm gonna get me a PS5 because I'm not gonna wait for some unknown announcement that this game's coming to PC. You know what I'm saying? Would you think there's some PC gamers? Because at the end of the day, not everybody's a fanboy for the hardware. Some people just want to play games, right? So you think there's some gamers that be like, you know what, I'm not normally on consoles, but I really like Horizon Zero Dawn. I need to play the next chapter, and I'm not waiting a year or two.
Yeah.
And technically, you can't even say you're waiting a year or two because you don't know. Like, there's nothing. Yeah. There's like, will this game come at PC eventually? Sure. But when? Yeah. Like, when? Like, how long do you have to wait before, is it going to come to at the point when everybody else is playing Wolverine? Like, who knows, right? So I would imagine there's a lot of gamers that just want to play games, and they're going to do what they got to do to play these games, right?
Yeah. And PS5s are going to get easier to get because with the VR peripheral coming now, that will help with the PS5 stock because more people will start shifting to that instead of maybe buying multiple PS5s or hoarding them. And I know Sony's making those, I think, either in China or in Japan. So they're going to release a whole bunch of those, hopefully to flood the market with their that hardware. So we'll wait and see that.
So when I listen to the investors, that third quarter investors meeting, right? One of the questions was, one of the questions I think an analyst asked, it was during the analyst interview, and the analyst asked, the chief financial officer, how does he feel about PlayStation's ability because they keep advertising 22 million, right? 22.6 million, because that's the record for I think it was PS1 said it, but they sold 22.6 million PlayStations in one single year, and that was the record, right? So he said, how do they feel trying to get PS5 to that record, whatever. So the chief financial officer said that as far as demand, they feel they can easily surpass 22 million. The issues they have in the supply constraint on whether they can actually reach that number through manufacturing, being able to get the components to make it. Now, here's the thing I didn't understand that I just learned during that thing, right? A lot of the components, Sony has to decide, and I didn't know this, but this was pretty interesting. A lot of the components that is used in a PlayStation, some of it is shared among their other products. Cameras, TVs. I didn't know that. So it's not like some of the semiconductor stuff that they need for the PlayStation 5, they also need it for their other products that they create in their other divisions. And they have to prioritize which ones will get, whatever. I didn't know that. I thought it was just strictly specific components for the PlayStation 5, but it's not. It's across their whole company, across all sorts of devices. Some of these items are shared across all devices. And they didn't say specifically what, but they have to prioritize. But what Sony said was they're going to prioritize the highest end platforms to get these components. But the PlayStation 5 is competing with other devices that Sony is already manufacturing. So, like, for example, for every component that goes to PS5, that's less component for maybe a camera, or less component for maybe a TV, or, a radio or speaker. I didn't know that. So this is crazy.
Still no release because they're making a 42-inch OLED or something to compete with the C1, the LG C1. They showed it at CES.
Yeah.
There's still no date on when it's
phones
coming
too, because Sony still makes phones. So,
yeah, they still make their phones. Yeah, their phones are. Yeah, my friend has one. He likes his, but he was. I mean, that 42-inch TV. A lot of people are interested in because they think they're going to sell it for like $899. It's going to compete with the C1, and no release date, no nothing on that TV. So I don't even know if it's in production yet. And they showed it last month at CES. So hopefully they can get that TV out, and that's a 42-inch. So it can be used as a monitor and or a TV. So that's kind of what they're doing.
Okay. So it's pretty interesting. Dover with another super chat. He says, "Where's the Xbox saying PlayStation got no games?" They're playing Crossfire.
Yeah, Crossfire X. Remedy Crossfire X.
Yeah. All right, and my man Andrew Wilkins. Thank you for the super chat. He said all first-party Xbox games come out trash or with issues. So as games they do deals with, people should hope Starfield gets delayed to work on the game.
It might get delayed. I mean,
it's already a year delayed from because it should have actually come out last November if COVID wasn't a problem. Yeah. But so I really do think that because they gave you the date 11/11/22, that it's going to come out. I mean, look. Is it possible a delay could happen? Sure. But I really do think that they chose that very intentionally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, I will say
and
this.
That they gave themselves more than enough time to accommodate for bugs.
Now, I will say this. To be fair to the audience, just Microsoft may have bought Bethesda and ZeniMax, but they left the publisher alone. So it's not like the game is being supervised under Microsoft publishing. So it's still Bethesda through and through. So if you didn't have much concern... or whatever concern you had them as straight up third party, even though they fall under Microsoft first party or whatever, don't worry about it. They're still in their own control. So however they operate business, like Microsoft Publishing ain't interfering with that. So they are who they are, and they're doing it just doing it. I say just more money and resources, I would imagine, but that's about it.
Yeah,
just as one thing on that I'm pretty sure that Microsoft would have had to have been the instigator of was because they committed to it is a Series X and S and PC exclusive. So that had to have come from Microsoft.
Oh yeah, not to put on PlayStation, But really, that's not too much because all they did was they halted the build of the PS5 version. That's all it really is. Shout out to Cold Man. God bless the dude. I hope everything's all okay with him and continue to progress. But he brought up a good point though that when Microsoft bought Bethesda, what happens with the manpower within Bethesda? He says you might start seeing people leaving Bethesda, but don't take it as bad news. Only because sometimes there's subject matter expert within the architecture, and if you're no longer working on the architecture, some people just decide to leave and bring that expertise to another company. So, so far we haven't heard a lot of people leaving.
Leaving,
you haven't heard
like
much.
A Bungie,
but Bethesda is one of the highest employee retained rates in the industry. A lot of the people that worked on Morrowind are still there. So
so they may have more
game.
Now there's still people that work on the PlayStation because of Elder Scrolls Online. So that's and Fallout 76. So they still need PlayStation expertise. Because of those games and stuff like that. But there wasn't really a mass exodus of people leaving simply because, hey, we're not making PlayStation games no more. So they either found new jobs for them. Who knows how that is. But he did warn us, hey, don't take a lot of people leaving as, people hate Bethesda or they hate Microsoft. They didn't know. He says, don't create that narrative. He says there's a lot of expertise. And if the expertise is not being used, then, just like any other job, if you're working somewhere and they're not using you to your fullest, you want to go somewhere else that you can, And I was like, oh, that makes sense,
Yeah. Well, you can move.
Transitions are always a time for that.
If you're a junior assistant somewhere, I don't know, say you work at Arcane, and then they have an opening at another Microsoft studio, say over at one of the ones at Activision, and you can go from being a junior at Arcane to being a senior, you're going to go. It's not like it's horrible. It's I've got a better opportunity over here to actually possibly lead a project. So
and that's
what it is.
Yeah, the experience that you gain and notoriety, that helps, get you better jobs. Good point. CB3 with the super chat. He said, "Bots better pray God of War Ragnarok doesn't come out in October, November. That narrative of PS not having any games in the holiday will be erased quick." Jesus Christ. Yo, you know what's funny, man? This community argues for the dumbest stuff. Like,
yeah, no.
Like,
I mean, they don't.
I love it. I love the console war. I love this banter.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand how you can sit
it's
up
so
there
funny.
and say, well,
It's
the only 2 months that count are November and December. Yeah. I mean, there's 12 months in the year, so they're just I don't know if it's about relevancy. It's just dumb at this point. It is. There were people arguing yesterday because Zaddy over at Digital Foundry said that, hey, Cyberpunk runs better on the PlayStation. These dudes were pissed off. I mean, they didn't say that. They didn't say that. Like, yeah, they did. You know, so you have to get over it.
That's pretty funny. I like my man B Staples. He admits, like, yeah, that power narrative, them dudes really, right? B Staples, they really screwed that boots up, didn't they?
I don't get involved with that.
Yo, tell me they went too hard on that for no reason. Yo.
Yeah, don't get a PC if you care about that shit.
Yo, that shit was, yeah. It seems like every year there's always something new with this power down. Oh man!
Yeah, now it's VRS. I literally got home and they were talking about VRS. I'm like, you all are still talking features. Where are the games?
Yeah.
You know?
Andrew Wilkins, thank you for the super chat. Andrew says, also, for some reason, people forget Halo Infinite was delayed for 2 years because it was supposed to release in 2019. It wasn't originally planned to be a 9th gen launch game. Really?
Yeah.
Well,
was that
the only real release date Microsoft ever gave was for the launch of the Series X. Internally, they may have intended it to originally come out 2019, but the first announced date was the day of the Series X and S launching last November, or pretty much a year ago. You know, last 2 Novembers. So,
yeah, and you got to remember they do not want to launch late. Like they don't want to launch. They don't want Sony just to get carte blanche and not have nothing against it. You know. So that's why they talked about power and backwards compatibility, because they knew they weren't going to have anything for that console at launch, and they didn't. But they did.
No, that's the crazy
Sony
thing,
to,
right?
to get out a big lead in hand, because Sony launched with new games. You know, a new Spider-Man game, Demon Souls. You know, a bunch of games that were different. So it's just, and Microsoft should have launched their console this year. It should have been launched this fall. And then in 2023, you could have launched with Halo, you could have launched with Forza 5, then you could have launched with Starfield, and launched with those games. You would have a much more evenly launched console, but they didn't do it. You know, they're like, we can't just give Sony carte blanche for a year. It's too big, we get too far behind. So it is what it is.
That's old history now at this point.
Yeah, it is. But that's
do you think we'll ever see a future generation where they don't release at the same time? You know, the same calendar year.
Well, between the two competing products.
Nope.
Oh no, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen because somebody would have to. Somebody will have to release after. Yeah, somebody will have to release after, and nobody wants to be the after guy.
You know why?
Nintendo will obviously be the exception, but
yeah, Nintendo's really Nintendo. In my opinion, the way Nintendo rolls, like not dismissing the platform. The platform is a top seller. A lot of people love it. They love Nintendo games, but I don't think there's, for the most part, a person that says, "Should I get a Switch or a PlayStation or Switch?" I think people who are getting a Switch, that's it. They're going to get a Switch. PlayStation, Xbox have nothing to do with the conversation. They're getting a Switch because of, the Nintendo games. A lot of parents trust Nintendo. A lot of parents trust, hey, let me give my 8-year-old kid a Nintendo Switch vice a PlayStation, Xbox, and maybe the community, the voice chat, they just trust the restrictions Nintendo comes, So I don't think anybody who's interested in Switch is deciding between that or PC. No, I think people who get the Switch just want the Switch, and there's no replacement for it. Vice versa, I think a person that wants an Xbox or a PlayStation, those are the two competing platforms. Things like that. So that's why between PlayStation and Xbox, one is not going to let the other get a year advantage because that's a whole year to themselves, and they're not going to allow one or the other build up that fan base.
It's true. Yeah, they're just, and obviously to me, Xbox wasn't ready. I mean, they released the medium rare, they had Flight Sim come out, and then I'm saying, I mean, those were games that came out. Then they had that horrible Dolphin. Let's go
to the next topic because it's 2022. It's 2022. We're not gonna rehash that. We already beat that. That horse is dead. We make glue. We used the glue. We ran out of glue. That's it. It's done. It's done, right? But let's talk about Call of. Let's go with this one. This one just popped out of nowhere, but Call of Duty.
Jason's Schreier again.
Call of Duty. Apparently, the next one that's coming out, or the one that was planned for 2023, will not release in 2023. They're gonna delay it to 2024. So potentially 2023 will be the first year we do not get an annual Call of Duty. So now I'm gonna start with B Staples. He's that Xbox guy. What do you think is causing this? Do you think it's Microsoft influencing with the purchase of Activision, or do you think that Vanguard sales flopped and that they're afraid that it's getting fatigued? What's your opinion on this?
So I know Jason Schreier said Microsoft had no influence on this.
Okay.
I think that's BS. If Activision was never bought, let's say it was business as usual, Bobby Kotick was staying, they are shitting out CODs every single year. They don't care about if the game doesn't even work. It's going to make money. Right. I'm not listening to anybody that says Microsoft had zero, the whole buyout had zero influence on this. I'm not buying it. It's BS to me. Regarding whether this is a good thing, I mean, hopefully the COD games get better. I know they're giving, Treyarch another year? Yeah, it should get better. I know they're going all in on this Modern Warfare 2. This is supposed to be like the highest selling one, the best one. You know, people like Infinity War the most. And it's getting a new Warzone too. I'm wondering how it's going to affect the marketing deal, the current marketing deal, because you know what they say, like it expires 2023.
Well,
or something.
Well, they. So as far as you're talking about PlayStation, you're talking about PlayStation.
Yeah. The COD marketing deal.
Yeah, they just said they're on the. They just said there's on the contract, but I haven't heard exactly when the contract ends.
Okay.
Now here's the thing: is the contract? I don't think the contract is time based. I think the contract is game based.
Game based, yeah.
So if you don't release the game in 2023, Sony's gonna be like, all right, cool. But guess what? You still owe. Let's say if they owe 2 more games. Let's say there's 2 more games this year, next year, 2022, 2023. Let's say the contract ends in 2023. But if you don't release the game in 2023, Sony might be like, wait, hold on. Our contract don't end in 2023 because there's no game. You didn't give us anything. So that shit's ending in 2024 for us. You know what I'm saying? So let's go with your scenario, right? Let's say if this was Microsoft influence, right? Why would Microsoft influence them now? Because the purchase for Activision doesn't happen until 2023 anyway, right?
Yeah.
But let's say the year they finalize the purchase, right? Let's say they finally buy them in June. Let's say June 2023, even July, August, whatever. So they buy Activision, Blizzard. They finalize the purchase, and right off the bat, they're losing billions because there's no Call of Duty that year. Right off the gate. And now the next following year, where they do the mass improvements, whatever, let's say that was the whole point, it's still going to be marketed on PlayStation because they owe PlayStation that final year. So you think that's advantageous to Microsoft? I mean, granted, we're a piece of shits. We ain't got, man, we barely bounce a checkbook, and we spend all our money on cocaine anyway. So what the fuck do we know, right? What do we know, right? But just have fun guessing it. You think it was Microsoft really influencing this? If you think it was, what advantage does this help for Microsoft's long-term goal? Doing it this early, this fast?
I think, it's real difficult to gauge because they're doing so much different things with Call of Duty. Like they have the mobile, they're talking about some new mode. They have Warzone 2 coming, and then they have the mainline game. So it's hard to really judge what exactly is going on with the future of COD. Whether this benefits Microsoft, I want to say it's hard because Because that's a Call of Duty game that's not in Game Pass. Like 1 year. Like for let's say it is a 2 year, 2 more games that PlayStation is owed the marketing deal. That means Xbox won't get the marketing deal until Sledgehammer's next game.
Yeah. And
they're typically the worst Call of Duty developers. So it's going to be a long time. So but the game. The Treyarch games should be better because they're getting an extra year of development time. Like the expectation is it should be better. Like Jason Schreier said that the developers are happy because they get an extra year to work on the game. Okay. So I guess they just want to make the devs happy. So maybe they don't leave when the acquisition goes through. You know, that could be another thing. Yeah. They probably just abide by the devs. I guess the devs have wanted this for a long time. Mm-hmm. Okay. They do not want this. They do not want yearly CODs. They haven't, but it makes money, and Bobby Kotick just cares about money. That's why I said I don't care what anyone say, bro. Microsoft, they influence this in some way. That buyout, I'm not here. Like they not doing this if they not getting bought out, bro. Bobby Kotick is saying, nope, y'all gonna release a COD. I don't care what it look like. We need to make money. Okay. But he's about to get fired, so I mean, it don't matter what he think, in my opinion.
Shout out to Dover, another super chat. Thank you so much. He said Microsoft doesn't own Activision yet. That is true. You can see between the president of Microsoft, everybody, they're playing the song and dance, trying to cater to the FTC, European Union, all that stuff. And right, this was right here. So my little level, 1008, man. I seen this dude for years up in here. He says, "What's up? I've been watching you for a minute. At least give me a shout out, homie. I got you." You know what I'm saying? Little level. I got you, bro. I got you, man. Thank you. Everybody else, man, there's 290 people. Can y'all hit the like button? Please. Hook a brother up. You know what I'm saying? It's free. All right? Craig, is he still here or did he leave? Let me check. Oh, no. So Craig left. Yeah. So Craig had to leave, you know what I'm saying? Because he has to wake up early tomorrow. So Project Cloud, what do you think about this? Call of Duty.
Yeah, so I did read Jason's article, very well written. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I take it at face value. I really don't think Microsoft, well, I certainly would not say that Microsoft was ever telling Activision to do this. Like, no, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Now, that being said, do I think that the general kind of, knowing the fact that they're going to be probably owned by Microsoft next year, I think that can factor into their decision to do this, as in they're more likely to do it because they're doing this, because they want to, appease employees, keep employees retained and happy. And plus, they have a lot of bad press that they're trying to overcome. So this, would seem to help with that to an extent. So I think it makes them maybe more willing to do this. But honestly, at the end of the day, like it makes more sense to me that money is the motivator, and they saw that Call of Duty Vanguard just did not sell as well as they had hoped. So basically, they're just reacting to a business decision, business realities. And by the way, just to make it clear for the audience, the article does say that there's going to be a new free-to-play game that releases in 2023, but obviously it's not going to be a premium purchased, $70, $60 Call of Duty that comes out at the end of the year. So there still is going to be new Call of Duty. It's just free-to-play. So, and honestly, Warzone just really kills it in terms of the revenue it brings in. So honestly, Activision, they might be able to make just as much money without a new Call of Duty.
It's probably gonna be some zombie mode or something.
So are they releasing a new free to play, like a new IP, or it has something to do with Call of Duty?
It sort of sounds like it. Like it sounds like it would be separate from Warzone 2, because that should be what's coming out this year.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm ecstatic for Modern Warfare 2 to come out. Like, I think that's going to be fantastic from, things that I've read, that are the leaks and stuff like that. I think it's going to be a phenomenal single player campaign to play. And then one thing that I haven't fully understood yet is if it's going to be a cross-gen game or not, or if it's going to be next-gen only this year. I'm hoping it's next-gen only, but I'm not certain of that.
Yeah, man. So that's a good question, especially for Call of Duty. Call of Duty needs the numbers. Like I
think it's next gen only, because they were saying that the Warzone 2, the allure of it is next gen only. That's what I think, because that's basically what Warzone 2 is. They said that the old Warzone is too old. they're integrating way too much stuff, and that's why there's so many bugs popping up, and that's why it's broken. Like, they can't work on that hardware anymore. So I think Modern Warfare 2 will be next gen only, and
I hope so.
That's what I think.
Okay.
No, just to make it clear, like they did talk about kind of issues with the current engine, but that doesn't guarantee necessarily that it's because of supporting cross-gen.
Yeah.
It could just be that they need a new engine to actually work across, old gen and current gen. But nevertheless, when you kind of use language like we need a new engine to kind of handle everything, it does tend to lean more towards next gen only than cross gen. But who knows? Maybe we'll be surprised. But I'll say this: whatever ends up coming out by Treyarch in 2024, like you can guarantee that's going to be next gen only.
Yeah, because at that point we'll
have a gap. Then
it's like halfway.
It should be readily available by then. That's like what? 2024 should be.
We're halfway into the gen. If they stick with the same,
more.
Yeah. If we stick with the same 7-year cycle, 2027 would be the year new consoles release. If they stick with the same cycle, November 2027 would be the year. So 2027
or mid-gen refresh.
That's funny. I think more and more that will be least likely than ever before now. I wasn't really convinced. I was skeptical because one of the main reasons for mid-gen refresh was because of how weak the Xbox One and PS4 really were. Jaguar cores, CPU, the GPUs were from 2012 and the consoles launched in 2013. So it was just overall behind the technology. They did a good job putting in the money to get great technology into these consoles, especially at the price. But given the fact that, with the semiconductor shortage and they can't get enough consoles to meet the demand, I don't see them trying to create new hardware. And potentially now they have two different SKUs with the same problem where now they're trying to balance semiconductors. I think this is it. I think we're stuck with this. And they're gonna maximize money, especially with the demand, right? I would imagine Microsoft and Sony, they're gonna keep these consoles at $500 for as long as possible, because this is the first time these consoles we're about to be 2 years in this November, and they're still at a launch price, and still in high demand. I never seen this in gaming before. Like, this is incredible. Yeah, it's like. It's just strange, right? And I think Microsoft and Sony, they're gonna whatchamacallit. They're gonna what's the term? They're gonna milk it. They're gonna milk this $500 price tag. They're gonna milk the price tag as long as the demand is high. If the demand stays as high, they're not dropping the prices. They'll do deals and bundles or whatever, $500 bundles, for like Black Friday and stuff. But they're gonna keep it at this point for as long as possible.
Series S going down like 50, 75.
I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think they're going to do it. If everybody's still buying the Series S, why would they? That's what I'm saying. Like, this is unprecedented. Like, the level of demand for these consoles is just like, it's never been heard of. By this point, by this point, we normally would just like, people would just walk in and just grab it, and then that's it. Right. You would see consoles on the shelf by this point. Like consoles being empty, like you normally don't see that. Every other gen before this.
What's the whole generation's like this?
That like 2025, I still can't get a PS5. Like, what? Bro, it's 2025. like 2027. PS6, I still haven't gotten my PS5. I'm like, bro, you just lazy now. Now you just lazy. Oh, what's that? Yeah. What's that in the background? Oh, snap. Somebody's this guy's burying a dead body in the background.
I was playing Horizon, my bad.
Oh shit. My man Ken, he's like, man, I'm done with this podcast. Man, that game is so good. He's playing Horizon Zero Dawn live on the podcast. Oh, snap. Alright. So let's go to the next topic, right? Hit the like button. So the next topic I want to talk about, let me get my little image. Alright. Wait. It's Street Fighter. It's Street Fighter. So Street Fighter 6 is announced, right? And granted, we haven't seen gameplay. Capcom so far gave us little information. They're talking about more information will be revealed. But from the character models we've seen, how do you feel about it? I mean, granted, it's not gameplay, but what are your guys' thought? Have you seen it? Have you seen the character models for Street Fighter 6?
Yeah,
right?
yeah. The logo is ass, by the way. That logo is horrific. I think they'll change it. The logo, like when they actually reveal the game and show gameplay, they'll make a new logo. But I mean, yeah, I think the character models look good. I mean, we haven't got a Street Fighter game since when was the last one? 2015, 2014, something like that. They look good to me. So
the guy don't look like the Hulk to you and shit. Never.
The Hulk?
Like Eric Banner. Like look at the Eric, like the original, not the original,
green.
but like the Hulk, like the Hulk from Universal, where Eric Banner, and that dude looked like I'm like, man, this guy, and then he has the face of Chris Redfield. I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
Did y'all want it to be more cartoony?
No, but like I don't know, like the dude looks like the Hulk, like I don't know, like the shape, like the dude has a ripped chest, but it's still flat. Like what the hell is going on here? Like this is like I don't know. The character models look weird to me. It just looks weird.
It's supposed to look weird. It's supposed to look weird. That being said, I think Hip Hop Gamer, he put out a tweet basically saying that he talked to some people, I guess, on the inside, and it says that the way the trailer looks is about what the game is actually going to look like. So that's impressive if that's going to be the case.
Now, it's going to be interesting because it's all about the gameplay, right, for Street Fighter. Now, normally, like 3D fighters play different than 2D fighters. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because of the physics, Tekken because of the physics and how the character moves.
Sidestepping and shit like
that.
Yeah,
Street Fighter tends to be a little bit faster than like games than Tekken. So it's just gonna be Ryu Redfield. They're saying in the chat. Oh snap! So it's gonna be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. But here's the real question: will this game come to Xbox? Or did Sony now? No fanboy stuff. This is a legitimate question. Let me preface it with this. Sony bought Evo. So Evo falls under Sony, right? Sony's getting big into competitive esports, right? You saw what they did with GT
Street
Sport.
Fighter 5.
Yeah. Street Fighter 5. They invested a lot of money into it. GT Sport, I think, is probably one of the more popular esport racing games on the planet. It's even an Olympic event now. So they're really big on esports. They bought Evo, so now they're managing that, and they got the contract for NBA 2K League. So the 2K League falls under PlayStation, right? So Sony's really big on pushing Evo and stuff like that in gaming, right? So now, now that I preface it with that, is there a chance that Sony may have locked Street Fighter 6 to just PC and PlayStation again, or do you think Sony left it alone? They're not trying. They just left it alone, and Capcom now is gonna make it all for all platforms, at a minimum, Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. What are you? Be stable. What do you think about that? We'll start with you.
I think it will be multi-plat.
Okay.
I think looking at Street Fighter 5, I think that was a special situation because Capcom was so down bad when that game was in development. They had no hits. They were down bad.
Okay.
Looking at Capcom now, they're up. Monster Hunter that prints money.
Yeah.
They up right now, and I don't think I think Sony will have the marketing deal. It'll probably be revealed at a Sony event.
Okay.
But I think it will be multi-plat this time around. Street Fighter 4 is multi-plat. I just think Street Fighter 5 was such a special situation because Capcom was broke and they needed help. I don't think they need help to make Street Fighter 6 now.
Yeah.
So I think they're just making it on their own. Sony will have the marketing. They'll be multi-plat. That's what I think.
Yeah, it was definitely unique. It was definitely unique because all the other Street Fighters were pretty much multi-plat, right? Even going back to the Genesis and Super Nintendo, even those were multi-plat.
Yeah.
So that was the first time when we saw Street Fighter. Well, maybe not the first time. I think one of the Street Fighters was exclusive to PS1, but that's only because it was more because of Nintendo sticking with the cartridge rather than, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so it wasn't like a marketing deal. It was just Capcom's choice to just
technology.
Technology. So technology-wise, Nintendo with the N64 decided to go with cartridge, and maybe some games, a lot of companies didn't want to support that, so they just by default it became a PlayStation 1 exclusive only because of the technology and stuff. But yeah, more often than not, though, the games will be multi-plat. So that's pretty interesting. Project, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, I was actually just checking Capcom's press release, and it said platforms TBA. So I'm gonna take that to mean that I want to say probably multi-platform, but there's a possibility that either Xbox or PlayStation may have gotten an exclusive deal out of this. And it's interesting that if you look at PlayStation's Twitter and even the PlayStation US blog, that I don't see anything about Street Fighter 6 today. So I don't know. Maybe it is a surprise announcement about PlayStation getting an exclusive. But
that's a good point that they didn't acknowledge it. That's a good point. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
it's hard to say.
That could also mean it's just because it may not come to the Switch. Remember that so they could. I mean, that's honest. That's why I said at a minimum Xbox, PlayStation, PC, because Switch is like the odd man out. You know what I mean? It may or may not come to that platform. You just don't know on that one.
Timed exclusivity, as somebody's mentioned in the chat here. So
so NeoWise. Shout out to NeoWise. It's
kind of all on the table. Yeah.
So shout out to NeoWise. He says Street Fighter 6 will be console exclusive and PC. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting because if let's say Sony somehow once again locked down Street Fighter 6 to just PlayStation and PC, that's gonna cause a lot of people are gonna be pissed off.
Yeah, they're gonna get pushback from that. I think so.
There's gonna be a lot of people pissed off because one, look at all the trash or shit that Microsoft's going through because of the thought of Call of Duty not being on PlayStation anymore. That it got to the point where even the president of Microsoft said, no, we're going to still support it even beyond contracts. But then yet with Street Fighter, nobody says nothing. That is, I'm pretty sure that's going to be a complaint among the Xbox community saying, oh, it's fine for Street Fighter to stay exclusive to PlayStation, but Call of Duty, that's, people are going to feel sorry for Microsoft. They're saying that the playing field is not fair. So PlayStation keep games exclusive and off Xbox, but Xbox can't keep games off of PlayStation. So I could imagine that would be, and I don't know if Capcom wants that heat, because ultimately, even though the headline is going to be PlayStation, but it would be Capcom making the final decision. They either accept the check or they don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's so weird how third-party exclusives are such controversial things. And people are just very arbitrary about, which ones are acceptable and which ones aren't. And
it's
almost like, I remember when Tomb Raider, went to Rise of the Tomb Raider was a year exclusive for Xbox. Yeah. Well, great for Microsoft for doing that.
But so many people hated it. But so many people hated it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and it was a great move. They didn't have their Uncharted, so they took Tomb Raider, and guess what? Now they get Indiana Jones with Bethesda with Machine Games working on that. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Real quick. I look at fighting games like this. Unless you're making a first party fighting game like a Super Smash or a Killer Instinct or a PlayStation All Stars, I think fighting games similar to sports games should all be multiplayer. That's just my stance on it. I don't think that fighting games should be exclusive unless it's first party like a Super Smash and you're using your IPs and whatever. But things like Soul Calibur and Tekken, I think all of those should be multiplayer. Mortal Kombat, so that's just my opinion.
I would say this. I feel like if a game is multiplayer, it makes more sense to be multi-platform. But if you're single player, it makes more sense to be exclusive. That's just my take on it. Because, honestly, the whole point of multiplayer is to have lots and lots of people available to play your game or in your session of a game. Yeah. So, expanding the audience makes sense. But when you're a single player game, well, that's honestly the best way, I think, to sell a PlayStation 5 is a compelling single player exclusive. So, honestly, it's even with Sony with their what they apparently have with their multiplayer games development, seems like a number of those may not even be PS5 exclusive. It might just be PS5 and PC.
Okay.
Again, we'll see how the announcements come out, but it almost feels like the industry has sort of recognized that if the game is multiplayer, having at least more than one platform makes more sense.
Yeah, especially like the free to plays. That's like the strength.
Especially,
yeah. That's why I say if supposedly obviously we all know Naughty Dog's doing factions or at least a standalone multiplayer. But I'm saying if that multiplayer ends up being a free to play, I could see that being day one on PC because that's really the strength of free to play. Get as much platforms under it so you can instantly gain a huge following as fast as possible. Because that's really the strength of a free to play. It's free to play. You play it anywhere for free.
Yeah, I almost have a feeling that with whatever that Last of Us multiplayer is going to be, that it's going to be. What's the name of the company that's working on the former Call of Duty developers? Is it
Deviation?
Deviation games. They have their game going.
Like, apparently their game has like a bunch of single player exclusive modes along with like tons of innovation in multiplayer. So it'd be interesting to see how that turns out. But it kind of feels like with the way Naughty Dog's described it in their job releases, is that they want to have the storytelling of their game somehow in a multiplayer environment. So that, if that is the case, if they're going in a more story-based multiplayer way where it's like you have, great cutscenes and just somehow the way the gameplay is integrated into that, similar to how their single player is, then maybe it will just be PS5 exclusive. But if they are not leaning towards the storytelling, if it's more about kind of matches and just, just kind of quick get in, get out, finish the match, then I can see that being more multi-platform. But then again, everything is changing now. Like everything is sort of up for grabs, so it's sort of hard to tell.
Yeah. So ultimately for me, I always see that it's, and sometimes it works out well now, but ultimately, if you can, try to be a multi-platform gamer as best as possible. Because at least from the standpoint of getting access to the games, you don't have to worry about, regardless of what the industry decides to do, you'll have one way or another, you'll be able to play the games. Because that's what should matter the most, right? Getting access to the games and playing them. Sure, some people, because of the ecosystem specific to the favorite platform, just playing on that specific platform is just a better experience overall, and stuff like that. Playing with your friends, etc., etc. But ultimately, always make it about the games. Have the ability to have access to the games and just play them. NeoWise. He said Guilty Gear Strive is console exclusive and PC, and I don't think that game is ever coming to Xbox. I will say, thank you for the super chat, NeoWise. I would say one thing that attributed to that is by Sony somehow getting Street Fighter V only on PlayStation and PC. That really changed the console landscape of which is the fighter console. Because, if you look at 360 and PS3, they were both balanced in terms of being the fighter console. Everybody was playing fighting games, Guilty Gear, Dragon Ball Z, it was all there. There was really no dominant, right? I think the only conversation between the two consoles was who had the better D-pad. That was really it, right? And Xbox 360 always had issues with the D-pad, right? But as far as just getting the game and playing it, that wasn't a big deal. But that pivot of Street Fighter V being exclusive to PlayStation, and PC, those two platforms only, that really changed the fighter crowd. The fighter crowd automatically gravitated to PlayStation by default. And that just led to many, some other fighting games that were exclusive, smaller niche ones. But in total, that's where the fighter crowd is. Majority of the fighter crowd is on PlayStation, right? Which I think was one of the reasons why, and that's just me talking, why Microsoft didn't really invest in Killer Instinct. Because they started to, but if you notice, they just let it die out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These Staples, did you get that sense? Were you into Killer Instinct?
No, but I know what you're talking about. They kind of just...
It fizzled out.
They just let it die. Because the studio got bought up by Amazon or something like that, right?
Yeah, I think it was Amazon, yeah.
Yeah, so it was what can you do kind of things. So what can you do about that?
And they didn't try to reinvigorate it. They just left it alone and moved on from it.
Yeah, so it is one of them situations. But yeah, I definitely know what you're talking about because I've always looked at Mortal Kombat as being associated with Xbox. while Street Fighter and Tekken, the more Japanese fighters, more associated with PlayStation. That's just how I've always looked at it. But yeah, once PlayStation got that Street Fighter 5, it was definitely a shift. Definitely a shift.
Stony916, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Thank you for the super chat. Stony said fighting games are better on the PS controller. So from a design, I mean, I haven't played the controller on the new Xbox. I haven't played the Series X controller. I haven't, I got no experience on that one. But traditionally, Xbox controllers, other than the Elite one, the D-pad's been pretty bad from generation to generation. Like Xbox for a while. B Staples, how's the D-pad on the Xbox Series X controller?
I have Elite 2, so I don't even remember.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you play on the Elite 2?
I do have the the Series X regular controller.
How's the D-pad?
For me, it works great, but again, for a fighting game,
for a fighter. Let's say for a fighter, you think it would?
Yeah, I think somebody mentioned in the chat, like, imagine playing a fighting game with those noisy, clicky D-pads on the Series X controllers.
Oh, man.
You definitely, I think, get some noise from what I remember about that D-pad. So versus the PlayStation, it's quite silent. Yeah. So
I heard the Elite controllers, the D-pads were good.
Yeah, I mean,
because you can swap them out.
$150 for a controller.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dover, thank you for the super chat. He says he hopes it's exclusive so I could see Kid Snooze cry. Oh man, he wants to hurt Kid Smooth's feelings, bro. Why you want to do that? Yo, that man's been through a lot. Man, leave Kid Smooth alone, man. My boy's going through it. He's going through it, man. He can't get his COD exclusives. PlayStation get this. He can't play Final Fantasy. Man, he hurting. He's done with PlayStation. Shout out to Kid Smooth and stuff like that. All right. So, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I just want to also mention, like, of course, we pretty much started the show with Horizon, but there may very well be another Horizon game that comes out this year.
So the VR.
With PSVR 2, yeah.
So the
Call of the Mountain.
So, so the VR, whatchamacallit,
by the way, we forgot to talk about this, but PSVR 2, the design of it got revealed today.
Yes, I was gonna bring that up because that was like a last minute thing, also. But yeah, so like, I think everybody in the chat is coming in. So the VR 2 got announced. I mean, the actual headset got unveiled. It looks similar to the Quest. Was my first initial impression. Yeah. Very similar to the Quest. And then the controller. So it does look like. It does give that similar feel to the Quest overall, like at first glance, right? Without looking too much into it. Let's go down. Hey, so let's start with B Staples. So Staples, are you interested in diving into VR? Is that something interesting? Whether it's the Quest or PlayStation, however, is that something that you're interested in, or are you just playing to wait and see, or are you just writing it off? Like.
And playing the wait and see. I've never experienced VR in any capacity. But I don't think they set a price yet, so I'm in a wait and see. I would like to experience it before I commit to it because it's not cheap.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not cheap at all.
That is true.
So that's like mine. I've never experienced any VR, so it's hard for me to just go out on a whim and buy it because it's
You're messing with B Staples weed money. Like, whoa, gotta chill.
Exactly, man.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, he ain't trying to go back to Reggie. He's like, hell nah. chill with that. You know what I'm saying? All right. So, but you're willing to look into it, see the game, see the content. So you're open to idea. You're just not all in. You need to see for what it is. You need to see the price and to see what it actually. Yeah, that's how I was when PSVR first announced. It was $500. And for my past experience of aftermarket peripherals, right? So like I said, I grew up where we had Rob the Robot for the Nintendo Entertainment System, U-Force, the Sega Light Gun, the 3D glasses, a Power Glove, the track and field pad from Nintendo also, the bazooka from Nintendo, what else? iToy from PlayStation. Never really got into the Move, but I had so many consoles, even Sega CD. I bought that, right? Well, my parents bought it at the time, right? But I had so many aftermarket third-party stuff that eventually failed because ultimately it came down to support, right? A lot of companies, why would they make a game that targeted this niche market that bought the peripheral when they could just make the game for the base console. Because that's always a challenge, right? You know, let's like my concern was, all right, you got the PlayStation 4, but then you got the PSVR. Why would a company make a game exclusively for the PSVR and limit it to that 3 million, 5 million audience when you could make a game and have access to 80 million? That's what happened in the past with every other device. You understand what I'm saying? You're fighting your self-interest to make a game for the specific device versus just the base console that has such a bigger group, right? Like the Sega CD. The Sega CD was an attachment for the Genesis, but like 3 million, maybe 2 million people bought the Sega CD while the Genesis sold 40 million. So why would you make a game for 2 million when you can make a game for 40 million? It just didn't make sense, right? So then the Sega CD died. So I personally felt like, man, this VR is, I stood away from it. I didn't hype it. I didn't bash it, but I'm like, I'm going to leave it alone. Especially when it was $500, which is more than the PS4. I was like, woo. I'm like, this thing's more than the PS4 Pro. I was like, woo. Sony really did it. But over time, people bought it. There was a little bit of hype, blah, 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 right?
It's quite successful for a VR product.
Yeah, I bought it when it was $299. When it dropped to $299, and there was and one game I saw, because you always have to have a system seller. The system seller for me was a game called Blood and Truth. When I saw that at Gamescom, I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, I gotta get this game. I gotta play Blood and Truth. And I did play it, right? So I bought it at $299, right? Hell of a ton of stuff to connect. Breakout box, HDMI here. I was like, man, this thing's a mess, right? But ultimately, when I played it, I was really impressed at the immersion you get from this. And there's nothing on a YouTube video that can help you actually feel that. There's no way.
You just have to experience it, yeah.
Yeah, the only thing you can do is hope that there'll be a Best Buy display. Make sure you have your hand sanitizing wipes, You don't want to catch the Wuhan from somebody else. Wipe that shit down. But I'm gonna tell you, man, YouTube, Twitch, there's just no way, because it's a feeling. Like when you put the headset on, right? The first like take for example Spider-Man, right? So this is a free one. This is like the free Spider-Man Homecoming, right? At the time, the first one. So I put the headset on, gives you a tutorial, and then I'm just there looking around the city, right? The first minute or two, you still you're in your room. But after a little bit, as long as you got the earbuds in and you got no light going through, you got the helmet nice and set up, nice and tight, and you're looking at it, you keep looking. After a while, you immerse yourself in this world. Even though graphically, it is what it is, but the fact that you see and you're looking around and you're turning around and you can see from the distance, I'm like, man, this is pretty good, right? So I'm looking forward and I see the street, because I'm on top of the building. So I look over the building. I'm like, man, this is like the detail to be that accurate was pretty cool, right? So then I turn around, I see the background, right? Now this is where I messed up. So my dumbass, I turn around, right, and I see the city and I see the edge. I go look on the other side and I hit my own wall in the room because I'm like right behind the wall. Boy, I hit that shit so hard, like it wasn't there. I was like, oh shit. So you probably seen I don't know if you guys seen whatchamacallit, videos of people just running into shit. Is because those what people don't understand is they're immersed in that world. So you lose track of your own surrounding. Like you just forget where you're at. So you end up hitting the wall, you hit the TV, or your kid runs by, you slap the shit out of them, because that perception's gone. And there's no other way to experience it unless you do it. It's just crazy, man. Now, I think the biggest improvement, which is I really want to see, is the graphics. Because it does. Graphically, the games ain't that great. At least the PSVR. It's not graphically. I never played on the Pro. I had the regular vanilla one. I heard the Pro is a little bit better. But graphically, it's not that great, right? Yeah. They look like PS2 games, to be honest. Maybe like a cross between a PS2, PS3 games. A little bit blurry, right? But the immersion is still fun, and the gameplay was fun, so I was impressed. So I'm really hoping that the VR2 really steps up the graphical capabilities with this. And I think if they do that, if you see a graphically great game and you get that immersion, man, I think that's going to be great. But B Staples does bring up a good point, price. Because I think if this thing launches at $400 or more, I mean, even $300. If it launches at $300, that's still going to be a challenge because you still need a PS5. So right off the bat, you're still going to have to drop $500. And then you drop another $300. That's not going to sell as fast as the Quest. The Quest is a very good deal. $299, and it's a standalone item. I heard it's really good. The games are really good. And I can see the Quest dropping in price faster. So imagine you could get a Quest for like $200 by next year or so. You know what I'm saying? Or towards the end of the year, it might be $250. The year after, $200. You know, so I think that will gain traction faster, while the PSVR 2 will be a slower burn. Because just, you know, think about it. You have to buy a $500 PS5, and then maybe at least $300 for the headset, maybe even more. If it's also $500, that's going to be a slow burn. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so regarding PSVR 2, I think there's really probably two key questions that I would have for it. And by the way, I think the graphics are going to be, you know, really good this time. You know, it's 4K HDR per eye from what I understand. Yeah. And also, if you saw the Horizon Call the Mountain trailer, again, I get it, it's a trailer and it's harder to show VR until you're actually putting the headset on. But I do think the trailer was a general indication of the graphical fidelity to expect, and it did look impressive. Mm-hmm. You can notice it doesn't look as good as obviously Forbidden West, but it looked, you know, like a lot better than probably what you've experienced on PSVR 1.
Oh yeah, by far. Much better, like light years.
I think the visuals will be a lot better this time, and plus they got new technologies to help with that too. But I think the two key questions are: will it be compatible with all PSVR titles that have already come out? Because I think if it's not, that's going to be a really, like, how are you going to sell a headset and only have like one new game at launch? And we don't even know right now if Call of the Mountain is a launch game. It probably is. But if that's all you're launching it with, we don't just want to only play only one game, and not have the library of titles to also experience along with that and see how they could be hopefully better. So that's a big question. And then the other question is Sony going to be willing to allow PSVR 2 owners to actually experience the titles like on a PC as opposed to only on the PS5?
Good question. Like, is it PC compatible?
Right. Obviously, because the PS5 has basically stuff that's better than some PC components. So I wonder if you're going to have a super good SSD, you know, to even have it run on your PC. But even if that's the case, you know, you have to have really good specs. I mean, if you're trying to sell more PSVR 2s than PSVR 1, I don't see how you're going to do that with PS5, because it's already a niche market. I mean, it's even just getting to the 5 million that they've already sold to PSVR 1 to do that with PSVR 2, it's still going to take a number of years. Yeah. So unless they're, I mean, yes, more people I think will be into it because obviously the fidelity, the immersion is going to be better. It's going to be a lot better experience overall. Yes. But still, it's just the fact that it's not wireless. That's already a hindrance. And unless you're going to allow PC gamers to also access that content, you're only going to get about to probably no more than 10 million units at most. And even that's, you know, that's really generous.
Yeah. There's going to be some hurdles. And I know some people, because I already seen it on Twitter, they're addressing the cable. A lot of people have issues that it's not wireless. Now, I fundamentally understand why, because it's relying on the PlayStation 5 as the horsepower behind the headset. Right. Which kind of leads to your second question, is this going to be on PC? I would imagine if this is something compatible to PC, you will probably definitely have a minimum spec.
So for sure, you have to.
So Sony says at a minimum spec, you need X amount, you know, this type of range of GPU, type of CPU and RAM. So I would imagine, you know, there's going to be a spec requirement if they decide that. If they if they don't put it on PC, this is where it's confusing, right? Because, you know, let's say if they don't put the PSVR 2 on PC, right, and it's a PlayStation 5 exclusive. But there's a lot of people feel that eventually PlayStation 5 games is going to be day and date on PC. But that's kind of weird because you'll have games that are day and date on PC, but yet your PSVR 2 is exclusive to the PS5?
Right.
Like,
right.
you see? So, like, remember, like we said in the beginning, this is a chaotic times. Like, I can't really gauge where anybody's going.
I would have to think
it's just hard. Everything all right? Oh shit! B Staples.
I'm here.
Out.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh
yeah,
snap! Snap! Aaron Greenberg got him. Oh
no,
shit!
Back.
There, you back, Cloud? Oh, I thought Aaron Greenberg got you. Oh snap! You see that? You see your chat? They're trying to shut us down. Trying to hinder the truth. Oh.
Connecting or something.
Oh man, they got him. They got Cloud, man. They got him. They got my mans. He was about to give us some profound knowledge. The Illuminati shut him down. Oh man.
At least it happened near the end. You know.
Yo, he's in the room, but I don't think we could. Hey, Cloud. Like,
I don't think he can hear us.
Oh
or
snap.
We can hear him. I don't think we can hear him.
Oh, so okay. Now I see it. Now I see the mute. Now I see the mute thing. I don't think. Hey. So he unmuted himself, but.
Let me ask you. Puerto Rock Elden Ring reviews go out tomorrow. What you think it's gonna get, man?
Oh man, I'm just saying if they stay with the way they do Elder Scrolls, man, I could see that game getting 90 or higher. Unless now this is what I hate. This is what I hate about reviewers. Unless you get them dumbass reviewers who will crush the game because it's too hard, as if that's a valid excuse. That you know what I'm saying? Like you know what FromSoft does. If you don't like hard games, then don't review it. Don't review it. Leave it alone. It's not for you. Just leave it alone. Don't play the game and then complain, oh, I give it a 6.5 or 6 because the game's very difficult and it's not very, friendly and it won't attract a mass audience. We know that already. We don't need you to tell us the obvious, right? We know the crowd. We know how FromSoft rolls. Review the game for what it is. Review the game for what From Software tries to achieve and give us a proper review based on that. Don't just play the game and then complain, oh, they need to have easy. Listen, they're not doing that. From Software is not going to give you easy options. That's not how they roll, Now, I'm going to say this. I don't have an issue with easy mode. So I don't want nobody confused that I'm gatekeeping, from having easy mode. I have no issues with that. I don't have issue with easy mode, normal mode. That's just play the game how you want, right? But if a developer, and publisher choose to have a game made a specific way because this is how they want their games to be known, this is how their games they want, to make a name for themselves, then that's it. The game's just not for you, If From Software wants their games to be known as challenging, difficult, and you're going to have to get good to play it, then you're going to have to either get good to play it or don't worry about From Software games. And that's just how it is. That's just it, Now, if people want to advocate, send Twitter messages, emails to From Software asking them to do it, hey, I'm not going to, I'm not saying don't do that. You have the right to voice your opinion and voice your concerns and see maybe the company will change their mind. But what I don't agree with is these reviewers that plays the game and then they're going to bash it because it's hard and it doesn't have easy options. We know that already. Like, all you're doing is purposely, messing up the aggregate scores for no reason. We know From Software games are hard. We know they're challenging. We know they're designed to get good. You don't need to review it and remind us that, the game's hard and doesn't have easy mode. Yes, we know that. We know that going back to the original Demon Souls on the PlayStation 3. Just move on. Let it go. You're not winning this fight. In fact, in my opinion, the more you guys try to do that, the more popular the game gets. Because I think there's more support for From Software to do what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? And I think gamers respect that. From Software didn't try to, try to gain more sales by making more casual. They're holding the line on that. That's my opinion. How about, are you going to play Elden Ring? Are you into
I
those?
got it.
Oh yeah, that's right. You like. Yeah. Now, are you gonna play it? So it comes out when? When does it come out?
Friday.
So Friday. Are you hoping to beat Horizon Zero Dawn by then, or are you like so?
No, I'm gonna finish Horizon. I'm like when it's out, I'm gonna finish Horizon. Then I'm going. I don't think I'm buying anything in March.
Yeah.
I probably won't. I don't think there's anything in March that.
Yeah, Gran Turismo's dog shit, right? Gran Turismo's dog shit.
I'm not buying Gran Turismo.
Yeah, racing games is dog shit.
Yeah, I'm not a racer.
Yeah,
you know I'm saying? I'm not a racer.
Racing games are dog shit. Nah, I'm playing.
Not my speed, but I'm gonna finish Horizon, and then I'll dive into Elden Ring. I can't balance both. I don't know how people do it. I can't balance both.
Especially two RPGs, I get confused.
And they're open world, like they games are not short. They're gonna be 50 hours, something like that. Like I can't. The controls be different too. Like
yes.
I'm
the same way. I'm getting Elden Ring. I have it pre-ordered too, but I'm not even gonna download it until I'm close to beating Horizon Zero Dawn because Forbidden West, because I gotta finish it. So once I finish it, then I'm gonna move on to Elden Ring. I think that's gonna be great. Then after Elden Ring, thank God I'm not into racers because GT7 is coming around the corner, but that ain't my problem. But I am. But there is a game called Babylon's Fall that looks good. I saw some videos,
platinum game.
Yeah, that looks pretty good, man. That looks pretty good. So, man, this first half of the year is getting crazy, man. And then Forspoken's in May. There's some crazy shit.
I'm looking at Ghostwire, man. Ghostwire, I like what I saw.
Ghostwire Tokyo, right? Yeah, that did look good.
I like what I saw.
I'm like, man, this is
unique. I'm intrigued.
It did it. When I saw that, I'm like, all right, that does look pretty interesting. Like, so I was like, I wasn't like Deathloop. The more I saw it, the less interested I got. Especially when it was like almost roguish. I'm like, I can't play another roguelike game. I'm like, I can't do it. I mean, hell, Sifu alone's kicking my ass right now. I'm like, shit. But I was like, yeah, Deathloop, I lost interest as the more I saw it. But it looks good, but I just didn't want to play it. But Ghostwire Tokyo, I'm like, wait a minute. This looks pretty good.
And this fucking Cyberpunk update. Oh my god. I'm gonna have to do that after Elden Ring. I already beat Cyberpunk. Did you? I actually really like Cyberpunk. Yeah, I already beat it at launch. I really like Cyberpunk though, so I'm gonna give it another spin with the update.
Oh yeah, the update's good.
Yeah, I gotta do that after Elden Ring. That's another goddamn 50-hour RPG.
Yo, these RPGs, they take up the most time, man. You play 4 or 5 RPGs, there goes your whole year. Like I played The Witcher 3, so I finally got around to The Witcher 3 last year, right? So I started playing it in November, like the first week of November. I said, you know what? Let me just download all of it. Because I had the complete edition. I'm like, well, let me just do it. Now's the time. PlayStation got no games. So let me just finally do Witcher 3, right? So I downloaded all the DLC. I started like the first week of November, and I finally beat it. And I was playing this game mad hard. I even went on, I had a lot of days off in November. I was on a 2-week vacation, I was playing this game mad hard all winter long, and I finally beat it like the 3rd week of January. I was playing that game crazy hard, putting in hours. I'm like, holy shit, this game is forever. Like, man, that game took a long time for me to beat. It was a lot, but I beat it, man. It was really good. Combat is not too good, but I can see why for some people that game was their generation, game of the generation. It is the side quests. Like The Witcher 3 is legit. It's a really good game. I enjoyed it. The combat, I can see why Dark Souls fans make fun of Witcher 3 combat. I absolutely can see why. Right? But overall, it's a great game, man. Witcher 3 is a great game. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait for the next gen upgrade to run through that one too. Okay. Probably later in the year, like July or something. I don't know.
It's a great man. So I guess Project Clouds is out. So on the final note, I have the picture of GT7. So this is for you GT guys. Apparently, the review embargo will be ending soon. When is it gonna be ending? Let me see. It's like coming.
I said March 2nd. March 2nd.
March 2nd. Like it's crazy. GT. Let's see. Metacritic. That's crazy. Let me see. I'm gonna let you guys know. Because that's gonna around the corner. What do you guys think? GT7 is gonna get.
I mean, it looks graphically
9
really
days
impressive.
and 4 hours and 14 minutes. Ooh.
Hey, man, I'm about to put my console war hat on.
Well,
as long as it gets lower than Forza, I'm.
Oh shit! But which Forza? Because this is a sim game. So what was the last sim Forza that came out? 5?
Motorsport 7.
7? It was 7?
That
really?
was. Wait, let me fact check that.
Let me see. I don't know which one. Oh yeah, Forza Motorsport. Oh, Forza. Oh yeah, Forza Motorsport 7. Yeah.
Yeah, 7.
So that
yeah.
was that was 86.
86. Yeah, as long as it get lower than that, man. I gotta, you know what I'm saying? I got a narrative push. You know how that goes.
You gotta talk that talk. You gotta talk that talk.
Yeah, I got
This game is trash. 85. This shit is trash. I rather play Forza 7. Oh shit! I'll let you racer guys have that fun. That ain't like me. No, don't get. I ain't gonna get involved in that. So y'all have fun with that. So, all right. So we're gonna. Cause anyway. So that was the last point. Hey, I guess we had a good podcast. My man Project Cloud. Oh, you back?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
He speaks.
It's so weird because like I was the longest time hearing you guys, and I'm saying I'm unmuted, and it's like you guys still couldn't hear me. So finally got you back in. So
right.
Thanks.
All right. Anyway, so we're gonna cut the show off. I think that we had a good topic. So that's it, man. I appreciate everything, man. I hope you enjoyed the topic. Thank you for the super chat. Channel membership is up. I also have a TikTok, so I'm gonna get started on that stuff there. Might do some skits. So hit me up on there. It's PorterRock77_60FNL over there as well. Hey, so party goodbyes. Hey, B Staples, what's going on?
Hey, man, a lot of games, man. Shit is difficult to balance, but I'm doing my best.
That's it. Project Cloud?
Yeah, so I'm just going through Battlefield 5 at the moment, and then hopefully I'll do Horizon Zero Dawn, and then eventually Forbidden West. So
man, didn't they admit that? Didn't EA admit that Halo killed Battlefield? I'm playing.
You mean the? Oh no, you're talking about the EA thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
They blaming Halo.
I think there was clarification on that, and they just in their internal meeting they brought that up as like a comparison as far as like Halo released more polish than Battlefield did, so they weren't really blaming it on, you know, Halo has a better game and therefore our developers weren't as productive. Like I don't think they were saying that, but I think they did bring up that, you know, gamers' expectations about bugs have changed, so they have to adapt.
Well, here's the thing. So for quick, one Halo multiplayer was a free to play. And Battlefield on next generation consoles was $70.
Right.
So that's right there. If gamers are going to pay $70, EA has to change their whole view on bugs and quality. Because especially for their shooters. Because if more and more shooters are free to play and you want to keep selling your multiplayer for $70, you have to go above and beyond than what's available on free to play. Because then what the hell are we paying $70 for? When a free-to-play, like a free-to-play multiplayer Halo, as much as the issues or whatever people complain, it still was better than Battlefield for $70, especially for $70. That's the thing. You're charging $70. Like, for $70, you gotta have like a single-player campaign. You gotta have, you can, in my opinion, if you're a multiplayer-only game, you can't be sold for $70 no more. Like, you can't charge. Yeah. Like, you can't. If you're going to charge, then you better come with the complete package. Single-player campaign, co-op campaign. Like, you got to go whole shebang. Because other companies are releasing multiplayer for free. And, they're not, like, it's got to be, you like, to me, if you're releasing a $70 multiplayer, you automatically include the season pass. Like, it includes everything. Like, all the maps. Like, don't release a game for $70 and then still, and for 30 more, you get the season pass. No, motherfucker. It includes everything. Like, everything. Skins, all that shit. Because free-to-play are given away for free. Like, it's crazy, man. This is, like I said, this is the most chaotic generation I have ever seen, bro. It's like, things will change. Imagine if every multiplayer from here on out is free-to-play. Like, no more cost-based free-to-play I mean,
I seen a tweet today. Someone saying Street Fighter 6 should be free to play.
Look at this, yo. Now, I don't know about that though, because I think the advantage of shooters and maybe Street Fighter is the money transactions. There's so much. I mean, there's only so much costumes you can buy for Street Fighter. You know what I mean? And
I guess you can always keep adding more.
You know, I think the Killer Instinct model didn't work out too well, where you got the base game for free with one character, but then you had to buy every character. I don't think that worked out too well for a fighter. I think fighters is a little bit different. I think you have to come out with a certain. I don't know. Who the hell knows? They may be doing that too. Who the hell knows, man? You know. Anyway, it is. It's the chaotic. Just enjoy the games of what we got. You know. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll all end up playing on a goddamn dongle streaming, which would be a miserable fucking existence. I would be so mad as hell. But anyway, this is your boy Porter Rock 77. Your only friend in these YouTube streets. I'm glad you enjoyed the content. On your way out, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, stick around. More content is coming. Love you guys. You guys take care. This is your boy. I'm out of here. Peace.